Hi, it's Travis White with the Persuasive Communication Tip of the Week. Do you ever have writer's block? Do you ever have a difficulty getting started and building your argument? Let's say you're going to give a presentation and you want to convince an audience to do something. What are your sources of argumentation? How do you get started? It's sometimes difficult to identify which argument is the most powerful. So let's review what the Greeks said. The Greeks said there's 7 different sources of argumentation, and you may want to refer to these as you think about your audience. One source is called security, just talking about the security of the audience. And we can talk about this in broad terms: national security, the security of our company, personal security. Security is a very powerful argument. People want to be secure. A second source of argumentation is health. What will make us healthier? As a nation, as a company, as a group, as an individual, what will make us healthier? Again, people want to be healthy. Healthiness is often associated with happiness. People want to be happy. That's a strong source of argumentation if you can build an argument based around the health of the entity you're talking to. Another one is called utility or usefulness, and this is often couched in the phrase, the greatest good for the greatest number. Which course of action would yield the greatest good for the greatest number? Utility. Another one, the fourth one that I'll talk about here, are the 5 senses, just the senses of the world around us and how we perceive that world. And one of the tips that we've talked about before is the more you can involve the senses, the more memorable your presentation will be. So to say that it's a red apple, that's not very memorable. That's only one sense. It's just the visual sense. But to say it's a red apple that crunches when you bite into it, that's juicy, that's sweet, and that smells of fresh jasmine, that's a much more memorable apple because you've involved 5 different senses. Another one, the 5th one that I'll talk about today, sense of community. We've talked about this. The demonstrative presentation gives you a sense of community. You're building a sense of community based on the common language and the common interests of that community, and based potentially on a perceived threat from another group that may affect your interest in a negative way. The 6th one is emotions, appeal to the emotions. And this is often, when you don't have logic on your side, this is often the source of argumentation that you will want to make. It's an emotional argument rather than an appeal to a rational, logical set of choices. And the last one is an appeal to authority. The 7th one is appeal to authority, appeal to the ancients. I often do this. I appeal to the authority of the Greeks. They had it all figured out. They knew what they were talking about. Therefore, it's probably a good way for us to proceed as well. So the 7 sources of argumentation: security, health, usefulness, the 5 senses, sense of community, emotions, authority. Think about those. Think about which is the most powerful argument for your audience, and this will help you get started and build a powerful argument that will lead the audience in the right direction. That's a Persuasive Communication Tip of the Week. See you again next week.